Hi everyone, I am Olive O'Sullivan, the owner of Browteak Cork, which is in Clonagilty in West Cork, and today's topic is the microblade. These are my favourites that we use in Browteak Cork. These two are by Tina Davies, and this one is the Karen Betts Pro. As you can see, a microblade, and I'll show you an opened one in a minute. As you can see, they're in a blister pack, and the lot, the manufacturing date and the expiry date is on each of them. They're in a blister pack, so they're actually opened in your presence, and we write down the lot, the manufacturing and the expiry date on your file for quality control. So that's them in the blister pack, and here is two that I use for demonstration purposes. Now I want to be able to sort of show you here. This here, can you see it very well? There we go, maybe that's a bit better. They're actually not a blade at all, actually. They're just 15 needles lined up in a row. This one is a detailer one, which is a very small one, and this one is a 18 gauge. So this has got 15 needles, and this has actually got 18. And then there's another one that's got a curved blade, which depending on the type of skin and after we do a skin analysis, which is called the Fitzpatrick scale, we use different microblades for different types of skin. So what is it? A microblade is not a blade at all. It's 15 needles or 18 or 22 needles lined up in a row, and it picks up the pigment, and we dip it into the pigment, and then we create the hair strokes. Now I'll talk to you about brow shapes on another day, but the blister pack is in it's a combined unit, so it is chucked out after each client, clearly, for infection control, and we've got a sharps container that goes to a hospital for incineration. So yes, one use only. My favourite happens to be the Tina Davies blades. Tina is a Chinese Canadian in obviously in Canada, and we import these by the carton, and they are the sharpest and the best blades that I've ever worked with. Then it's only in the last year or so that I've started to use the Karen Betts Pro, which I am loving also. And Karen obviously is in the UK, and it is far easier and faster to get her blades if ever I'm stuck. So for your information, the microblades are opened in front of you, so we get all set up with our sterile field. I'll talk about the tray setup later on in another video, but usually when we're about to start, it's only then that we open up the microblade out of the blister pack and into a disposable tray. Now these disposable trays are actually sterile as well. This is out for demonstration purposes only, and then it's chucked into that, as in it's dropped from the air, so that it is sterile. And just before we're about to commence, we usually recommend that you open your eyes, because the client is lying down, so that they can see that we open a sterile blade. It's disposed of in the sharps bin, and then the entire unit is destroyed. That is the blade, the handle, and also the disposable tray. So we use different blades for different kinds of skin. There is a Fitzpatrick, and I'll talk to you about that another day as well. There is a Fitzpatrick gauge of skins. Well, I will either use a detailer, I will use the curve, or I'll use the shading blade. And then there's different widths, 0.16, 0.18, 0.20 and 0.22. And it's depending on the skin and what the Fitzpatrick scale is all about. Okay, these here as well are wound pads, which we use obviously sterile as well, and there was a time that we used to use a handle and a blade, the blade being disposed of, and then the handle was put into this and then into the autoclave. But now we don't do that anymore. Everything is in its blister pack, and the entire unit is actually disposed of safely. So if you're looking to see what microblading is all about, I suggest that you actually go onto YouTube, and 3 of the best people who demonstrate and has paid quite a bit of money to have videographers come in order to film them microblading, and it's very visual, so it'll be very good for you to be able to see what the microblading is all about. I would highly recommend Baltic Brows. I would highly recommend Karen Betts's YouTube videos. As you know, we use her blades here, but the creme de la creme, in my opinion, is Tina Davies. Tina has spent a lot of money on a videographer coming in to video her doing the microblading strokes, and you can see exactly how I microblade your eyebrows with Tina's blade. And Karen's blade as well. And for both of those, I actually use Tina's pigments, I use Karen's pigments, and I use 2 other different kind of pigments. That's a video for another day. So I hope that helps you so that you can understand what a microblade is. It's not a blade, just to reiterate that. I hope that helps you.